Hey, Vulture Vlog number 2. How's that for consistency, YouTube? Uh, so you're probably thinking, what's this chucklehead going to be rambling on about today? Today I'm going to be rambling on about the importance of taking notes. I cannot stress how important note-taking is in Leathercraft. You need to take copious amounts of notes for every single project you make. That way, when you go back to make a better version of it or remake it, you're not reinventing the wheel. I know for me, it takes about 3 iterations from idea stage to actual item until I have a result I'm happy with. So the first one is usually garbage. I'm establishing some kind of rough dimensions, making sure everything fits right and works correctly. The second version I'm refining, and then the third version usually comes out pretty good. And along that whole process, I'm taking notes. And because I have those notes, I can refine each iteration to make it better and better and better, because I'm saying exactly what I did and I'm critiquing the item after I'm done with it and making suggestions for the next one. I probably take too many notes. You know what? No, I don't. There's no such thing as too many notes. It's all helpful. Here are some of my notebooks from the past few years. Since they're all kind of different, it kind of helps me remember what is actually contained in what. But I've been playing around with the concept of digitizing them, so I can actually easily access the information contained herein. It's very difficult to find what I'm looking for with this type of organization strategy. So I'm going to be going over notes that I took when I made this first version, which is a bifold wallet with a coin pouch that I use when I go to Japan or Europe or anywhere where coins are prevalent. I took all the knowledge I learned the first time I went to Japan and put that into making this wallet for my subsequent Japan trips. And actually been going to Italy recently. My wife and I are obsessed with Tuscany, and they have a lot of coins over there, so I get to use it over there as well. This is what we'll be discussing today. A bifold wallet with a card stack on one side and a coin pouch on the other. It's fully lined, meaning every single surface you could possibly look at is nice grain side leather. I think this has a good level of complexity to just kind of go over how you should take notes. My classes and all my stuff are going to be geared more towards 101 stuff. But I think it's important to just go over a little more complex item and show you my note-taking process. All right, these notes correspond to this wallet, which I call a coin pouch bifold. I draw a little diagram of what I'm about to make, just so it's easier to tell what these notes are in regards to. And then I put the file name of the pattern I'm using. I draw all my patterns on the computer on a CAD program. So I want to make sure I know that these notes are referencing this file. Because as I said earlier, I make a lot of iterations of things. So I change and amend the pattern, and then I resave it as a new name, and I'll have notes that correspond to that new name of the pattern. So I just like to make it perfectly clear what file, what pattern I'm talking about. For this particular wallet, I've made it fully lined. So literally everywhere you look is nice grain side of the leather. There's no scruffy flesh side. So I'm using very thin leathers for this, and I'm doubling them up. Card assembly back. That's short for card assembly backing, and that is the piece that all these T-slots and pockets adhere to, and that's what kind of gives us our body of each side of the wallet. So for that, I'm telling myself I use 0.6 millimeters leather, and since it's so thin, it's understood that that's on each side and doubled up, so it's a 1.2 millimeter full thickness. For my pockets, I use 0.5 millimeters of leather folded over. For my coin pouch body, that's 1.2 on the outside, 0.5 on the inside. And my gussets, that's these gussets to allow the coin pouch to expand and contract with coins. I use 0.5 millimeters for each side. So, getting into the weeds, I wanted to make this really thin, really nice, high quality, fancy wallet. So I did a ton of skiving on this. And to make sure I don't go too thin or too thick on my wallets, I like to say exactly what I did for the skiving. So just for the back lining of these pockets, for the back lining of this whole assembly, I skived around the entire perimeter of the rectangle, 10 millimeters in from the edge, to a feather skive. That means full thickness to 0 thickness. Moving on, everything else was either self-explanatory or detailed in my patterns until I got to my gussets, which, as I said earlier, are these pieces of leather that allow the coin pouch to expand and contract. These gussets have a nice rolled edge. That means the leather is folded over the top. So I'm telling myself here that I need to add 7 millimeters to my top fold-over allowance to give myself enough wiggle room to cut it down to size after I skive it and make it all nice and crispy for a crispy fold over. So now I'm going on to my body of the coin pouch. When I say body, I'm referring to this portion. This is a separate piece from this flap and separate piece from the gussets. So I'm saying to skive the bottom where it's stitched to the assembly back of the exterior. And all that means is this piece comes like this, curls back around, and is stitched to the card assembly backing. I'm just saying remember to skive that. I have to say it at the beginning because once I glue the outside exterior to the interior lining, I can't skive because it'll take the grain off and it'll look ugly. So I always want to make sure I look at these notes before I go to the next step because I have to skive each layer of leather and then glue them together. You can't do it afterwards. These are some skiver parts I needed to order. Please disregard that. So for my folded and stitch edges, I'm saying that the stitch is 2/3 the fold over. So since I stitch at 3 millimeters, all my fold overs need to be 5 millimeters. This is an example of a fold over right here. Man, this is hard to illustrate. It's folded over and stitched, so I just want to make sure I have that at 5 millimeters. Trust me, it looks good if you could see in the black hole that is the inside of this coin pouch. So on most of my bifolds, I like to notch out my interior panel so I have a nice clean edge on the outside and it doesn't splay where these connect right here. It just makes for a nicer burnished edge and a nicer overall look. And here I am telling myself I used 8 millimeters. I did an 8 millimeter notch out for the inner panel. And I'm saying, even getting into how I glue things. So I'm saying the interior panel is glued only around the perimeter and higher for the taint cutout. Please excuse my crude language calling this cutout a taint, but I only glue the perimeter of this so it moves independently of each other and you have a nice wallet that's pleasurable to use and it doesn't want to boing, spring open. I'm just reminding myself, glue the perimeter and make sure to come up and glue above this quote-unquote taint that I call it because I'm going to notch it out. And if I didn't glue up this additional 8 millimeters, it would come apart. So for my interior panel, which is what holds all this together, I'm using 1.1 millimeter leather for the inside and then 0.5 millimeters of leather for the bill side. Everything else apparently was self-explanatory. So I meet back up with myself when I'm talking about the exterior of this wallet. I use 1 millimeters of leather for the outside, and then 0.5 millimeters of leather for the inside lining. After I made this wallet, I just gave it a good looking over, and I always like to do critiques of my items. So my major critique was the exterior stitching looks bad. The top corner should join. I thought that these stitches should join. Also, I told myself not to hammer these stitches too hard because this is thinner leather, because they'll get too wide and look weird compared to these stitches, which are thinner because you're going through thicker leather. Then, actually, I decided that I like how these stitches look now, so I made an amendment to my notes. So then, with those notes, I was all prepared for take 3 of this, which is traditionally the one that is really nice and when I have my pattern perfectly tuned in. So I told myself what I was using. I went through my other notes and just told myself what to use for my pockets and my assemblies and all that stuff. So since I already had that information available, it's very easy to just transfer it in a nice, like, clean format to what's probably going to be my ultimate reference point for this particular wallet. And that is what happened. This is my ultimate reference point. So everything's nice and clean. I cleaned up all my notes before. I amended what needed to be amended in the pattern. I amended what needed to be amended in the notes. Got everything down. Nice, easy to follow. So I even tell myself things to look out for, which I may have realized after I made the first wallet. This is some really kind of airy, fairy Leathercraft stuff. Don't pay attention to that. I'll talk about that in my tool-on class. For my top corner, I wanted to have the outside and inside flush. On this wallet, my exterior sticks out higher than my interior. And I think that's just a cool effect with the stitching. And it just makes it a little nicer on the top. You don't have that weird splay like I was talking about happens down here. But for this wallet, I wanted to make them flush and even. This idea I had, I said it was too fiddly and F it. So I know that I feel strongly that I don't have to do that. Just process notes. Tell myself to make my interior cut to size and pricked. Same with exterior, but for my interior, glue it up, cut the top flush, stitch it and finish it, then cut the sides flush and prick. Use that to establish my bottom edge, which is going to be the height for my exterior, so I size them appropriately. Then do the same for the top. Remember to cut on a bias for burnishing. That's something that I'm going to have videos going on in the future with. And then I get really into the weeds with everything, talk about everything I did, and yeah, this is the level of detail you should just go into for your wallets. Talk about coin case flaps, step skive, where to glue the liner, all my kind of like offsets and dimensions, on and on and on. So as I go through the iterations of like a initial design stage, build the first one, build the second one, build the third one, my notes get more detailed as I get everything hammered out. And when I think this is going to be the final product, I take copious amounts of notes like I just showed you and just illustrate everything really, really clearly and just make it idiot proof basically, because I know I'm going to be referencing that going down the line. So I hope I didn't bore the pants off you with that. I just wanted to go through everything and show you like how detailed I take notes and how detailed I suggest you take notes. It'll just really cut your learning curve for each item. And say you make an item and then 2 years later a customer asks you to make it for them again, you can go right back to your notes and make the exact same thing just as easily and as good of a finished product as you did that time. So I know this is a bit of a boring topic, but it's about the fundamentals. Really, Leathercraft is all about the fundamentals. You can't make nice stuff unless you got the fundamentals nailed. So to spice this video up, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of footage from fly fishing for redfish off my paddleboard. So I guess before I show you that hot redfish footage, I should take care of some housekeeping. Please, like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, help me get in front of more eyeballs, which will in turn help me get more people signed up for my Leathercraft 101 class, which will be coming out in the not too distant future. I think it's going to help a lot of people out. So go ahead and sign up for my little email list. The link is in the bio. I'm just going to let you know when the classes drop. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next week with episode 3. Who knows what I'm going to be talking about then? I sure don't. Got a pair coming in hot. Missed them. Got a tailor right here in front of us. That is what I like to see. Get some nice warning. Change direction. Gosh, missed him. No, man, that kills me. I've been really sucking today. I don't know what's going on. Oh, here's one. Go! Oh, he smashed it. Smashed it. Absolutely crushed. Ow! Oh, absolutely crushed it. Oh man, that thing like a freight train. Go! There he goes. Got off. Man, this is like the hardest redfish I've had in a long time. Here's one. All right. Man. This is killing me. All right, see another one. See a little school. Go! Spooked him. What the hell? Oh, well, no. Well, I guess I spooked one and the other one grabbed me. Nice. This is a nice fish. Good fighting position now. He is really messing with me. Can't make up his mind whether he wants to fight or chill. It's really messing with me. Every time I grab the leader, he takes off. Goes under the boat. He's a good sized redfish. Maybe chilling out. Let's try and grab this leader and see what he does. what a beautiful fish. Oh, look at that. Beautiful fish. Gonna unhook him, send him on his way. Thank you, dude. Check the tags.